Yeah, truly. Cooler and I'm flyer too. Jam. Cooler and I'm flyer too.
Welcome everybody, A1 Forever Sports, the show that's cool and fly too, aka the 1995 crew is back in here, man. I said 1995, but that's how we feel the party like because my boy is back in the town. We have the great the shoe god is what I like to call him, man. I'm talking about Fan Nation's Pat Benson Jr. Welcome back to the show, my friend.
Hey, you're far too kind. Thanks for having me. The pleasure is all mine.
Yes, sir, man. If you guys,
I
follow
got a
Pat
quick
Benson,
question to ask.
man.
How was
Go,
your
okay, out the gate.
how was your very first Father's Day?
Oh
Ah,
man, first Father's Day was amazing. It was like cloud nine. So I had my baby on May 1st, and he's 10 weeks old today. So just switched over from newborn to infant, and it's been amazing. Highly recommend having kids. It's a life-changing experience. So I was on cloud nine. I've been for the past 10 weeks.
okay. So
The
I
only
got a
advice I got
question.
after that is
Okay,
get
go
some
ahead.
track shoes because when that one roll around, you better get ready to run.
Oh, okay, all right, man. I appreciate the advice.
Well, one thing about Pat, he does run the track, so he may have some little experience in that, man. So he may he may have some experience. Just
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
that real quick, and then we're gonna get into some Hawks. Just I've been told that it's a special feeling that comes over like first time fathers. Did you get some kind of feeling or some kind of aura? You know what I'm saying? Like you was in the last dragon or something when you just had your son.
Oh yeah, man. It was like a game 7 NBA finals victory, gold medal in the Olympics, everything, Super Bowl victory all combined into one. And I was just sitting there cheering on my wife. She's the real MVP who carried the baby, delivered him, did all that stuff. But yeah, absolutely. It's a very weird, surreal feeling. And the first time I heard him cry, like I've heard babies cry my whole life, but it like had like a weird sound to it. Like I could tell it was my son or my baby, just because like some weird evolutionary tick or whatever. But lots of weird stuff comes along with it, and it's all amazing and beautiful and crazy.
That's
Yeah.
wonderful, man. That's woo. That's some stuff right there. Smitty, you felt that same thing, man?
Oh yeah, yeah. He absolutely correct. 100%.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what
that's
I'm
a life
talking.
changer, man. You just look at everything totally different after that point.
No doubt,
Beautiful,
no doubt.
beautiful. Okay, so the Atlanta Hawks have been in the headlines, Pat. I know you've been doing your thing, but I know you've been still kind of following and keeping up. Some of the biggest news, of course, Dejounte Murray finalized the trade. You know that trade is done, is over with. The dust has cleared and settled. So I want to know, man, with everything, since some time has passed, with everything that you see, what New Orleans got in Murray and what we got with the Atlanta Hawks, how do you feel about the Dejounte Murray trade now?
I like it. I liked it when it happened. I was optimistic and hopeful when we first acquired him, but I felt like he and Trey never quite, complemented each other perfectly in the same backcourt. And DeJounte deserves a place to flourish, and he will definitely do that in New Orleans. I think we'll see a better version of DeJounte. We need to all prepare for that. But I also like it for the Hawks as well. It just wasn't the right fit. You really have to construct the perfect roster for Trey.
Mm.
Agreed.
That's an interesting take when he just said construct the perfect roster for Trey. Just and Dejounte obviously did not fit it. I know now it was only about let's say about a year, 2 years really that they
Two
really got
years.
a chance to really work together. And I know, it was a
Yeah.
different two different coaches in that span.
Yeah.
Do you feel like the Atlanta Hawks may have just bailed too early, or maybe they just go ahead and just cut their losses while they're at it?
I'd say they cut their losses, and the return they got was decent enough. It's basically had been their asking price for a while, and I think right now we're in save Trey mode. I think that's really what's going on, and they want to make it clear, hey, we're going to build around you. Maybe Dejounte wasn't the right fit. Not that this came from Trey or anything, but I think we're officially in keep Trey in Atlanta mode, and we're going to do what we have to do. Kept the number 1 pick because I guess the trades weren't out there. But yeah, I think that was probably one of the main reasons.
Right, right, indeed. And one of those players in particular, and shout out to the chat, Robert Blackman here. If Dyson Daniels balls out for the Hawks, people will change their minds on this trade, and that's a good take right there because Dyson Daniels already has some tools that he's bringing to the Hawks. How much how much do you think that the Hawks will use Dyson Daniels? How effective do you think he will be for the Atlanta Hawks?
I'll be honest, man. I don't know. Well, it all depends on Quinn Snyder, really, how he views it. Because we see some promising players come through, and he doesn't see them as promising as we do. Like AJ Griffin, for example, we're very high on him. He immediately relegated Griffin to the bench. A year later, Griffin's gone. So it's up to Quinn on how much he wants to utilize Dyson.
Right. Also, it's probably up to Dyson as well for improving some things that he's going to have to I guess be a focal point in this offense as well.
Sure.
Smitty, what you got for him?
We talk about the center position all the time. Pat, should there be a more sense of urgency to go out and get a big man, a true 7-footer? Because I feel like defensively that would complete this team, because we all know Quinn Snyder likes his 7-footers. He had Rudy Gobert in Utah and built around him and Donovan Mitchell, and now he has a Donovan Mitchell type player in Trae Young. How important is it to go out to get a 7-footer?
I mean, it could definitely be the last season. I'd say more likely than not, it's the last season for Clint Capella in Atlanta. He hits unrestricted free agency at the end of this upcoming season. So again, I could see the Hawks not wanting to be left holding the bag or left empty-handed. So yeah, it's possible that he's part of that trade for sure. I wouldn't be surprised if Capella's moved, and again, something that a player that fits Trae's game. And Capella definitely did that for a while, but I think he's on the wrong side of 30 now, and efficiency and all that.
Yeah, agreed. And speaking of being on the wrong side of 30, what you think about this USA roster? Them picking Derek White over Trae Young, who to me is more accomplished stats wise, and he's done more, and I think he would be a better facilitator on the team, just like NBA team, because I feel like he just being left off the roster. He's one of the best young stars in the NBA. And even though Derek White, I know he just won a ring, but come on now, you can't keep just leaving Trae Young off everything.
That's why. Let me show y'all my background.
Yeah, man. That will look so nice.
You led into my point perfectly. Obviously, I get it. Kawhi's a forward, Derek White's a forward, the roster's constructed a certain way. But you hit on something important. At a certain point, resume matters. And Trae's hit the qualifications. Like Isaiah Thomas said about the Dream Team. He has done what he needs to do. He's campaigned for the position. He's done everything. But I just feel like the NBA Illuminati is working against Trae. The Lloyd Pierce, Popovich, Steve Kerr, Axis. I just don't think they want Trae on the roster. I'm not sure how popular Trae is around the league amongst players. Usually he kind of lags in all-star voting with his peers. So I think there are a lot of forces working against Trae. But you hit the nail on the head. He's got the resume. He deserves a roster spot, but looks like it's going to Derek White.
Yeah, absolutely despicable, man. And it's so crazy because just who the director of the USA basketball team is, and just the connection with Atlanta is it's crazy, man. But I understand.
You're right. I didn't even mention the Grant Hill. I didn't even put two and two together. What's going on?
Yeah, it's tough right there, dog. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't understand what the man has to do, what else the man has to do. But as far as his peers, I will touch on the fact that they've done these surveys or these polls amongst peers and everything, and they keep putting Trae Young into this overrated category.
Wow.
It's pretty crazy, but I mean, that's how some of his peers feel about him around the league. Some players may not want to play with him because of previous things and things with the organization, previous antics that Trae Young has done. But ultimately, I feel like Trae is matured. He's a family man now himself, married, some couple of kids now. And I believe if he could take back maybe some of those things that he could, but I mean, at the same time, it's what made him today. but ultimately moving forward, I
Yeah.
think hopefully we'll see the best of Trae Young moving forward, as a man, as a leader, and as a basketball player. And hopefully, we'll see him in Atlanta, because he has been our biggest star since Dominique. For those who care about that, I know a lot of our fan base, we're just ready to win, whether if it's with Trae or without Trae. But obviously, it's going to be at least moving forward with the foundation that we're laying and the trades that we're making, that we're trying to put pieces around Trae, and it looks like it's more defensive pieces than offensive pieces as well.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. And also, just to kind of piggyback on what you said about Trae's growth, anybody who spent any amount of time with him is going to be impressed by his character. Like, he's he's probably the nicest athlete I've ever covered. Like, after the game, reporters will ask him like really out of pocket questions, and he'll frame it in such a way and try to be as polite as possible, and also be like, that's a crazy question, but he says it in the most polite way possible. So again, I don't understand where the Trae hate comes from. But back to the roster construction, yeah, I mean, more defensive players. It seems like the Atlanta Hawks keep swinging from one way to the other. Like, we want this really offensive behemoth, and now we want a defensive juggernaut, and they keep swinging back and forth, and again, kind of lacks a team identity. And Quinn's never really been known as like a defensive, great defensive coach, so that's kind of different.
With that being said, what direction should the Hawks go, or will Landry Fields shoot the shot one more time and go out and get a big name this offseason with what's remaining with the cap room? Even though they're in the first apron, do you see him going out and making a move?
I don't. What about y'all?
No, I don't. Because I've been talking Walker Kessler for the last month.
Yeah.
And now he's up for a deal. You got an unprotected you got a protected pick from the Los Angeles Lakers. I would actually use that pick, go out and get a true 7-footer to come in and protect the rim, play defense, help my transition game. But I don't see him making that move. But I think, like you said earlier, that could be the missing piece to Quinn Snyder's team.
Maybe so. They need something, because obviously right now this roster is not going to get it done in the Eastern Conference. I like Larry Nance Jr., but I don't know if he's going to help get us to the second round of the playoffs or anything like that. So, yeah, more moves need to be made for sure.
Oh, guys, I'm just saying. I mean, I gave it until Tuesday, and it's now Wednesday. So for me, seriously, for me, I'm kind of settling into the reality of there may not be any more moves coming. And why? Because it takes two to tango, sometimes three. And if the Hawks don't have a deal that makes sense, because you can't just go out here and just make deals, and then if they don't make sense, and then the fan base is like, okay, now really, what are you doing? You shouldn't even have made the trade, And I believe that's where the Hawks are at right now. They're kind of idle. They're kind of in limbo. They have nobody that wants to make a trade. They still have Clint Capella, and honestly, at this point, you may need to keep Clint Capella for how the roster is constructed. I mean, it's guys are settling into their new teams. And when you look at the landscape, there's not even really a lot of difference makers left in free agency anyway that makes sense for the Hawks. So it's time to get ready for this roster to kind of look the same, look the same, but, not the same, but look different. But as in what I meant by the same as what it has been for the last week or for the last couple of days, this is going to be like the lineup. This is going to be the team, and we kind of got to settle into that. So that leads me to my next.
You're practicing acceptance at this point.
And that's all. I mean, we all have to, brother, because at the end of the day, there's not really any more moves to be made. When you look at the salary cap, when you look at the Hawks, and when you look at free agency and what there is to do, there is nothing for the Atlanta Hawks to do. You have to have a partner if you want to make moves. If you have no partner, if no one likes you, no one's going to make the move. If no one wants to take on those contracts.
It does seem like no other front office likes Atlanta's front. Is there an organization that we work with a lot? Because you see that sometimes, like some teams, they work with each other a lot. Is there an organization that works with Atlanta?
Not at all.
No.
I was thinking.
Not unless they're trying to unload a contract. That's the only
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the only reason why people even try to work with Atlanta and the reason why they don't is I just think it's because of past moves, and
Yeah.
everything is about relationships. People talk,
Yeah.
people talk all the time. So my thing is, and people see exactly what's going on, and if it doesn't make sense to the masses, people are not going to just continue to work with you and try to give you some of the best deals out there when you have shown that shoot, man, you have a chance of messing a lot of things up. So
Yeah.
for Hawks
Yeah.
fans,
Yeah.
I'm saying for Hawks fans, Pat, I'm just like, I don't think this started out to be like a rebuilding type of a thing, because some people, will say rebuild and reset, retool. That's all the same things, and respect to it. But at the same, it seems like now the Hawks are more kind of like into a forceful rebuild in a way. They don't want to
Right.
call it that especially because we still have Trey, and I don't think but I know they had to have some kind of conversations. Should Hawks fans just go ahead and be accepting that we are in a rebuild, whether if it's forced or by choice?
Man, listening to you make a pretty compelling case for it. You're practicing acceptance. You've gone through the 7 stages of grief, and you're there. And I'm not far behind. Maybe you're right. I think though, as long as you have Trey, though, you've got to try to build a competitor. If not, what are we doing? At that point, then do the right thing by the player and let him go somewhere else and flourish. But if Trey Young's on your roster, you've got to be competing for the playoffs.
Right.
Agreed.
Yep, and it's like
Agreed.
the roster is filled with some guys. They do have to make some moves.
Yeah, Trey.
I feel like some guys are maybe going to more sort of College Park. I know they re-signed Seth
Yeah.
Lundy. I think
Yeah.
I think he's still coming off of ankle surgery, I think, or something like that, like a cleanup, some kind of
Yeah.
procedure he had, I believe. So
Mhm.
I believe he'll be in College Park. I think the mystery about the lineup though is what development will we see from the younger guys in this lineup, the Kobe Buffkins, the Mo G's, guys like that who are going to be getting bigger roles this season. Like, how do you
Right.
see like Kobe Buffkin, who is actually in better shape if you guys have been seeing him lately? He looks like he's in
Oh
better
yeah.
shape and look like he's ready to take another step. Can these guys make any kind of difference and bring some kind of hope to the Atlanta Hawks? We have a lot of young guys mixing them in with older guys.
I'll let you take that one, man.
Man,
Oh, you
Smitty,
gonna
what
let
you
me
think,
take it?
man?
Oh,
Yeah,
bet.
what you think, Smitty?
I think honestly, they really, to me, not really made a big difference because to me, the way the roster's constructed, they're gonna take a chance on Jalen Johnson and see how he can keep progressing to evolve and be a better player. Because honestly, um, if him and Trey can take a next step together this year, maybe they could go out and get a second tier player to add on and make a small big three or however you want to see it. But honestly, I want to see how DeAndre Hunter how he will evolve as a role player because I
Mm-hmm.
think you see his stats last year. He had his best season yet as a pro. So that lets me know he's a better six man than being in the starting rotation, even though his defense is going to be missed. Uh, Risacher, I want to see how he just comes straight up right off out the block, probably 15 to 20 minutes a game, see what he's done in the preseason and training camp and what he's done to catch on to the American game. So other than that, man, one quick question because I know Pat probably got to go.
Yeah.
What player do you see, Pat, having to take another step this year for the Hawks?
Yeah, I mean, I'd be interested to see what Kobe could do. I don't know if, it's going to be hard for him to succeed in that role, but I mean, it'd be interesting to see what he could do. I I don't know. I think we're going to go more the veteran approach. I'm still not all the way in on the rebuild or like the player
Yeah.
development route. I still think that they're trying to make the playoffs and they're going to go with more older players. We're going to see more action, but it'd be cool to see Kobe take the next step.
Indeed,
Cool.
definitely. Well, Pat, I'd like to thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and coming on for a few minutes. Talking some Hawks with us. Please, by all means, let people know like where they can find you and like what you got going on. right now, so people can just, know what you're doing.
For sure. Just follow me on social media at Pat_Benson_Jr. And other than that, guys, I appreciate y'all for having me. This is fun as always. I can't wait to do it again.
Oh,
No doubt.
indeed, man. Just we'll see what happens after summer league, man.
Sounds good. We'll talk then.
All right, thank you
No doubt.
again, Pat.
Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. That was Pat Benson Jr., Fan Nation. He talks a lot about sneakers more so nowadays than the Atlanta Hawks, but he's still in tune with them, and definitely want him to come on and give his thoughts about it, man. Real quick, since Pat is gone now, I wanted to switch gears before we get up out of here. And
Go ahead.
I don't know if you have, but I know I listened to a little bit of the Dejounte Murray introductory speech.
Oh, I'm finna do
Yeah.
I'm gonna do a yeah. I felt kind of some I felt, oh boy, I'm trying
You felt some type of way, Smitty?
Yeah, man.
Okay. So the reason why I brought
some slick shots. Yeah, he took some slick
now that's
shots,
the
and I didn't
thing.
like it.
People were telling me the same thing. Like he took a little slick shots, and I listened to it up until about a little bit after the Herb Jones comments about taking care of him and whatever. But
Right.
the thing about it is how he said he wants him and Herb Jones to be first all team defense together, and it was just crazy to me about that. I was like, first team with Herb Jones. I can understand that. I can see that going, but also something else that stood out was about how he said it can't just be 5 guys that wants to win. It can't be just 5. It has to be 1 through 15 that wants to commit and really commit to excellence. Now,
so
are those some of those subtle shots that you're talking about?
He was taking some of those shots at guys such as Trae Young, who we know defense is not top tier, bogey. He could have been taking a shot at DeAndre Hunter too, because you talk about 1 through 5. Hunter is now a 6-man. So I mean, right. I get what he's saying, because you're going to get frustrated with some players when you don't see them giving maximum effort. So I get it. But at the same time, talk to those players. Tell those players how you feel, man. Don't go to the media and put it out there. Because guess what? Those players that were on the team in Atlanta, they're going to figure out who the hell he was talking about.
Oh, so, they already have.
Yeah, so I mean, don't do that, man. That's boy. Look,
go ahead. But I mean, in all honesty, at the same time too, in basketball, 1 through 15 do have to be, locked into their roles, and everybody got to accept their role, not try to be bigger than their role or bigger than the team. More importantly. So I understand what he's saying, but I
as
do.
a veteran player and as a leader on the team, as a point guard, you supposed to set the tempo for the team, not just let things just fall by the wayside. You see something going wrong, say something. That's all you got to do.
Right, and I mean, people were putting him as the leader of the team, but just like really since he left San Antonio, he kind of been. Still trying to find his team. This was technically Trae Young's team when he came here, and shoot, when he's going to New Orleans, that's Zion's team. So he still, is in a secondary leadership role. But the way that he was looking, it seems like he's so excited to be in New Orleans, and he was excited to be in Atlanta as well. But do you think he's excited to be in New Orleans because he's so happy to be out of Atlanta secretly?
Yeah. The way his tone, the way he was talking. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. He probably knew. He probably got tired of hearing his name come up in trade talks. I mean, that could be very sensitive as well, because if you watch TV, and I'm sure all of us do, I don't care what they say, they watch the TV. And he's probably been hearing rumblings from players he talked to around the league. Man, your name coming up in this, your name coming up in that, and he probably just got tired of it. He probably wants to get to a team where he can settle in and become a big part of that team, and probably play a longer tenure and probably be there for a while, because he was here only 2 years. If he gets to New Orleans, or if he goes to another team after that and plays 5 to 6 years to end his career, I mean, he'll be satisfied with that. What player wouldn't? No player wants to keep moving around as a journeyman. I mean, because that to me says that not that you're not a team player, but talent wise, that says something about you. You don't fit there. Maybe you need to go here and try here, and just keep moving around. That can get frustrating. So
Right.
frustration could have kicked in too. So who knows?
hmm
Maybe he'll come
I
out and
mean, it's
tell us.
definitely cool. Yeah, it's definitely man, that's crazy. It's definitely it could be, man, because you just put yourself in the situation. You eventually, you're a human. You get tired of hearing things and seeing things, and then if still, was a rumor about him and Quinn not necessarily on the same page, but everything that you hear is, oh, Trey, well, I need Quinn, or I need Trey. I ain't hear Quinn saying, oh, I need Dejounte, so I
Right.
mean that's something. I mean, of course, he's gonna talk well about him. I don't expect Quinn, send it down to Dejounte, but as far as like that aspect of what Quinn just like needs, there was an emphasis from both the player and the coach about needing each other. So it's
Right.
a possibility of that. I'm not going to rule that out about Dejounte, secretly being happy to be out of Atlanta because of the direction of where the Hawks were going, especially in utilization with those two players in Young and Murray. I can see it. I
And
definitely can see it.
honestly, backcourt wise, he's still in the same spot in New Orleans because CJ McCollum, he's pretty much a scoring shooting guard, and he's
Mhm.
listed as a point guard, but he's a number two, and
Hey,
he's a ball dominant guy, so he's really
mhm.
still in the same situation.
And let's just be honest. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, CJ ain't good on defense either. So
Nope. So what did he gain by saying that?
yeah, so we'll see how that works out. Him being in the backcourt with CJ. I know right now Brandon Ingram looks like he's going to have to stay. And real quick, man, I'm so glad because I know I seen your video. I almost did a remix on it. I seen your video,
Yeah,
man,
go ahead,
about
do it.
trading Ingram, trading for Ingram, and about CC and Okongwu. My thing is, I'm so glad they didn't do that because you getting rid of CC, the contract, the expiring contract, but why you gonna give them 002 and then you gonna go into the season with Cody Zeller,
No,
Bruno,
yeah,
you know what
yeah,
I'm saying? Cody Zeller, Bruno, what, and you gonna put Moji at center now or something? Like, I mean, I don't even know if he can play center yet. Why? Because I haven't seen much
yeah.
of him.
He's still
Power
a
forward
four.
been
He
cool.
ain't not a five. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So uh I'm glad they didn't pull the trigger on that because that
But
wouldn't have
like
been
I
smart.
said, man, I understand that apron thing with free agent with cap the cap. I wouldn't want to give Brandon Ingram $50 million. I would have went and got OG for 35 and been happy with that. But Brandon
Yeah.
Ingram with the injuries, and don't get me wrong, he's a scoring nightmare on certain nights. He's a guy that can come in and pick up the slack on scoring when Trey's having an off night. But $52 million for Brandon Ingram, they're only to me, and it's just my opinion. And LeBron getting 52 million. There are only a handful of players in the NBA to me that deserve $52+ million a year, and he not
Right.
one of them.
Right. And then that was gonna be my next point about CJ. Yeah, he is bigger than Trey, but and so he should be better on defense. But man, CJ has always been an offensive player. Always, all the way back in, I
Yeah,
seen with the
even in
Blazers.
Portland. Yeah,
Yeah, he's
and
always.
the
So I mean,
crazy
my
thing
thing is,
about Portland, him and Dame Lillard were to me the same type player, so that's why it didn't work out.
it was, man, they definitely took turns out there for quite some time, and they got some places, man, but they never got, to the ultimate prize, to the ultimate goal of reaching the NBA Finals together. We'll see what the Pelicans do because I mean, what you're looking at with the Pelicans, they still need a center as well. And like I said, sending over Capella, that would have been cool, but I can't give you a combo too. Because my thing is, I'm not going into there with nobody
Yeah, that
athletic
that
at
would
all
that would have been
at
crazy to
center.
give up both. That would have just been stupid. Just keep it real.
Right.
Would have been stupid.
Yeah. So I wasn't for that at all. I'm really wasn't for Brandon Ingram really after the first trade anyway. Um, especially for that price tag, but I wasn't on it just because I feel like it didn't make any sense. I feel like you was gonna pull the trigger. You should have did that in the first trade. So to go back to the
Yeah,
well
but
with
but
New Orleans
but
and make a
see,
different trade.
I think that factored too into them picking Risacher. Because like I said, I
Mhm.
think they had been talking to New Orleans months before the draft even started.
I believe so
And when
too.
they found out the asking price, They say, hey, we need another scoring wing, and Brandon Ingram's not available. One because of contract, and two because of injury history. Let's go out and get this scoring wing, Zaccharie Risacher. And really, they showed their hand early on because when they win the draft lottery, what do? Fly right over there, go see what he's doing, see
Yep.
what he's about live, right in person. So just like the Michael Penix in Atlanta, when it got hot towards the end, same thing with Risacher. They went right over there as soon as the lottery. Soon they
Only
figured
difference
they picked
is
number one. Go ahead.
only difference is with the Alex Sarr and the Bill Duffy thing, with the Duffy effect, that also played a part in it, made it really the decision a little bit easier. And we just knew that Landry Fields was not going to take Alex Sarr anyway. That's what I was telling y'all, man. I just didn't see it. There was no way that he was going to just be like, oh, we're going to take him anyway and figure it out. No, we're not even going to touch that. Just because if you take him anyway, you still have to deal with the agent regardless. If y'all noticed that Trent Forrest hasn't been back with the Atlanta Hawks yet. Bill Duffy is his agent.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
so it's still a Duffy effect going out there. You know.
Oh yeah.
If Trent Forrest
that's gonna get old, and
if Trent Forrest is not even back or anything, that just confirms it that the Hawks completely don't want to have any dealings with anybody that's associated with also this agent, Bill Duffy, who doesn't want any of his clients associated with Atlanta anyway. So that's just a mutual tie that's just probably going to be over with.
Facts.
Yeah, man, you factor all that stuff in. But guys, man, we just wanted to get on here, for a minute, quick Hawks talk. Had my guy Pat Benson wanted to talk a little bit of the Hawks a little bit. So we definitely thank him for coming on. I know we'll probably have more in-depth talk with him later on moving forward. I know we're still trying to schedule everything up right now with Bob Rathburn, get him back on, get his thoughts. Always great personality to have Bob around. And, moving closer toward, Falcons training camp. So we got to get ready for that. The All-Star game is coming up for the MLB, for those who are interested into that. We have 3 All-Stars and Ronaldo Lopez, Marcell Ozuna, and also the surprising to me, Chris Sale, because that was a guy who I was also nervous about. And I just want to give him his flowers right here because the start of the season, I had my eye on him and he has impressed and really shut my mouth.
He's actually back in a situation that he actually likes. So sometimes changing scenery is good, and we talk about that all the time. Right,
indeed, y'all. So, man, if you guys are interested in what Pat Benson Jr. had to say, please just go back to the beginning of this live stream right here, and you can get his thoughts. And y'all just make sure y'all continue to drop y'all knowledge and continue to drop y'all thoughts, as we always appreciate y'all thoughts, whether y'all agree with us or not. It always makes for a healthy conversation, you dig? So, okay, hold on.
We got one question before we leave.
What we got here? Panel members, please answer this
Black,
question.
What's up, man?
Jay Black, what it do? And everything. Do you think the Hawks will use their first draft pick on the best center available to them next year? Smitty, I'll let you go first.
It's possible. And I think honestly they will have a lottery pick last year. I'm keeping it real with y'all like I always do. I think they have to go out to a center. If not before the draft come next year, they could be at a trade deadline, make a move for a center. Yeah, you when I got the White Howard, brought him back from Thailand. Somebody. But next year they definitely have to look at getting the big man one. Clint Capella is going to be gone likely. You still have Mogay. You still have for Bruno Fernando probably going to sign a 1-year deal, so he may be gone too. So a lot of your big men are going to be gone. So that may be the only option that you have next year, if you don't go out at the trade deadline and get one.
Right. If you don't make that, because my thing is too, you got to think about it. Like hypothetically, if Walker Kessler is still a Utah Jazz at the beginning of the season, we'll see what happens with mid-season with that situation too, because the Jazz have already tried to make him available, and they're asking for first-round picks with an S, plural.
And the more he plays, right? The more he plays, and his numbers are not elevated to where they are right now. that asking price is going to have to go down.
Yep,
So,
indeed. So you got to
and
hope
with
that
and with the
happens.
expiring and with the expiring contract in Capella, you could ship him right off to Utah. They'll take that little money and he be off the books and they scot free.
Right. Yeah, they could definitely do that. As far as next year, I'm really hoping that some things, really some fortune falls at the doorstep of the Atlanta Hawks. And DeMar DeRozan going back home again, I'm hoping that he can catapult the Kings to a playoff berth, which will help the Atlanta Hawks. And we get that draft pick, you know what I'm saying, in a quote unquote loaded draft next year,
Right.
with loaded talent. Then if you add in that Lakers pick, the Hawks can have 2 picks in the first round of next year, regardless. And depending on what happens, they could either use both of those picks to add to the roster and the team, and possibly let go some other contracts and other players who are getting older or just not fitting, or they can use it as leverage, to try to go get a bigger name, or a bigger star, a bigger productive player, down here too, because they got 2 first-round picks, so we'll see what happens, man. Right now, it just seems like we're going to be set right now. I think Clint's going to play this final year out, and it is going to be what it is on that. I definitely
but like I said,
it.
I give it to the trade deadline, depending on what their record is at trade deadline.
Right.
If their record is, if they're way out of the playoff race, Clint Capella, he's likely getting traded. DeAndre Hunter's likely getting traded. You can even see Bogut get traded. So they can have a quick little fire sale.
Ain't it?
Yeah, quick little fire sale if things not going right at the trade deadline.
God almighty, no, man. And the thing about it is, more importantly, outside of people thinking about the stars and the players, if all this goes down, man, the people who suffer the most are the fans. We suffered the most because of the product on the floor, the lack of production or product on the floor. I know some guys don't like Trey, some dudes, feel like we got rid of the wrong point guard. We'll see what happens with that moving forward. At the end of the day, again, and I know you guys don't care about this, but it's a part of it. Marketing, the marketing names, the who's the better player, the who's the bigger star, the bigger name, all that stuff plays a part into it. And also we have to think about the coach.
I got to speak on this question I got to speak on this in the chat right quick.
What's that?
It's that we don't have loser mentality. It just, we see the same thing year in and year out. And to see them not really make big moves this offseason, they got a number 1 pick, true enough, but he has developed and become, a special talent. And it's not, the Hawks just really after 2021, and we ain't got to keep talking about that. It just went downhill after Travis Link left. So I feel like until they get that right GM in place, and I'm gonna keep saying it, you get that right GM in place to build this team and build a great foundation, a winning foundation. We're gonna keep having the same conversation. That's all.
Over and over again.
It's not having a losing mentality when you see that your team does not have a strong foundation to build off of. How else are you supposed to react? Be supposed to act like you just don't see it? I've never been like that, and I'm never gonna be like that.
Right, man. Hey, you gotta lay these foundations, because Atlanta has to become an attractive destination spot as well, too, man. We got to get some consistency down here about players who ready to play, no matter what jersey they put on. And it's not all necessarily always just about the money. It's about trying to get it, and get it done on the court, 1 through 15 or whatever, So now at the end of the day, we got to be prepared, y'all. We got to be prepared, because even moving forward, there may be some decisions that we're not going to like as a fan base. And I ain't even talking about keeping Trey or moving Trey. I'm just talking about with the rest of the lineup, just taking Trey out of it and just thinking about the rest of the lineup. If the Hawks are, are too hasty, they could be even in worse shape than what we are now. And then if they pull the trigger too fast, we could be in even worse situation. So basically, my point is the Hawks as a franchise right now are trapped between a rock and a hard place, and they just trying to dig themselves out. And us as
Timothy
fans,
Williams.
they expect us to just be like, okay, you know what I'm saying? We're here for another rebuild. We're tired of rebuild, you know. We
Right.
want winning product
Timothy
on the floor no
Williams.
matter who's wearing the logo.
Timothy Williams said he never knew why Travis Link left. On his opinion, Timothy, he didn't want to be the owner's yes man. Just to be honest, he wanted to
Bro,
build
when
a
they
team the way
vetoed
that
him,
the way he wanted to build a team. They weren't feeling it, and mainly that had to do with the way Trae Young saw it. So
this is
when
true as
Travis
well.
speak on it, yeah.
Yep,
So
he made some mistakes. I mean, nobody is perfect, but at the end of the
right.
day, he was like, let's not get in this situation of getting away 3 of our own picks to get Dejounte Murray. And they said, no, you know what I'm saying? You stay over there, Travis. Right? Matter of fact, Travis, hold on. It's this paperwork I want you to sign about, you know what I'm saying, you walking out the door. We're gonna give you those. You know, we're gonna do this trade,
Right.
you know, I don't know what you talking about. So
He
it's at
just
the end
wasn't
of the day,
feeling what he was trying to build. So
at all, man. It was crazy, man. Absolutely crazy. And then Travis was a basketball mind. You just gotta go back. Travis has been in the league as an executive for years. Like we talking about back in the 2000s, early
I was
2000s.
just about to say 20 years. Yeah, 20 years.
Yeah. So and you just gonna let someone who someone younger who's probably around in that same age range come in and just, you know, make decisions just because of privilege. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel that, you know. I don't feel that, you know, the
Robert
whole thing.
Blackman, 100%. A strong foundation absolutely comes from the ownership. I agree with that 100%. 100%.
Absolutely. It does. And the ownership has to lay it, has to lay down pretty much the concrete and the brick for it, the foundation. And then it has to trickle down into the organization. Right now, what's trickling down into it is nothing but entertainment and mediocrity. And
Yeah,
I
like
need
it
more.
always been.
I need
Like I
I
said,
need more.
and the crazy part about it, it's not even always about having a star player. It's about just bringing
Right.
players in. And it starts with the right coach. The right coach. And I'm gonna give y'all a perfect example. When Lenny
2016.
Wilkins was here, when Lenny Wilkins was here, we really didn't have a
Back
superstar on that team. We had a solid center in Mutombo who constantly made the All-Star game because of his defense. You had Mookie Blaylock, who was a journeyman. He was the star point guard. You had Steve Smith, who came over from Miami. Really wasn't being used, but when he got to Atlanta, he was a totally different person. So Allen Henderson, somebody that they drafted who we really didn't agree with, solid player. So I mean, it's not always about star players. It's always about the coach, the fit, and what you're trying to do as an organization. That's what it's about. Because that 98 team, I guarantee you, they probably would have made it further than that 2016 team. Why? Because they had a big man named Mutombo in the middle who could play defense, and then they had Mookie and Steve who could shoot the three and carry the team. So
hey man, I just look at that example, and also just moving into what closer to the modern times of the NBA. Even just in that 2016 team, how we had no superstars on that team, but you know we had guys who have been productive, but no real superstars on the team, and was able to have that team chemistry that was brought down from the coaching staff and the scheme and everything and the fit. And we was able to go to the Eastern Conference Finals, like regardless. Yeah, I understand that we kind of got dog walk when we got there. You know, some elements did happen. You know, I know then Kyle Korver, he got hurt and he was never the same after that as well too. So it's at the end of the day, that team made it to the Eastern Conference Finals with not one superstar. So
but they paid for it in the end because they ran into a buzzsaw named LeBron James, and he wasn't having it. So
and I ain't gonna lie, them first 2 games in that series, I was there for, and we were overpowered in every asset. Sometimes you could even look at it to where you could just see like some of the things that Braun were doing, and maybe even the Hawks players were like in awe at that time, because 2016 that was still Braun.
One thing about it, you're gonna need a star player to get you over the top. You're gonna you're
Right,
gonna need a star player to get you over the top. And
right.
playing against LeBron James in the East back then, yeah, you
That's
weren't
why
touching it. Trust me.
I was still Braun. That was, coming fresh off of Miami Heat, what I'm saying, Braun and everything. So it was tough, man. Did I have faith? Yeah, because of what we had seen, saying the Hawks do. But I knew it was gonna be a tall task, but I didn't know it was gonna be that darn tall. And
Yeah, and then you had
but
a
at the end
young
of the day,
Kyrie.
you know,
You had a young Kyrie back then who was finding himself, and they built a good team around those two guys, and that's what I mean. If Jalen Johnson can take that next step this year and be the star that we think he can be, and he gets to another level, yeah, the Hawks will pick it up a little bit, and they could grow a little bit. And hey,
yeah, too many have called Trey a coach killer. They
yeah, he's
have.
not a coach killer,
They
man.
definitely have. I mean, my thing is about the coach killer thing. Lloyd Pierce, I don't think anybody thought that Lloyd Pierce was the coach for the Atlanta Hawks. At least not I. So it's just like, okay, they didn't like each other, whatever. Things did work for a while with Nate, but I think Nate's
Right,
scheme started to get outdated, and you have better coaches who picking up on it and saying, all right, regardless, we're going to take away Trey Young because we don't believe that anyone else on this team could do anything. And then that's when DeAndre Hunter pops up with about 35 points, what I'm saying, and surprises, but that's not a consistent thing. So again, regardless, people are homing in on Trey, and that's probably going to be something that happens this year. So people are going to have to be ready to shoot. I expect Trey's numbers to go up, but I also expect them to try to, use other players, some of those role players, to basically replace some of that production from Dejounte Murray. I expect
right,
Bogey's numbers to go up. But more importantly, we got to hope that JJ is ready to take that next step. We're hoping that Kobe Buffkin is ready to take a different step in year two. And I believe that's interesting. I'm really ready to see Kobe Buffkin, but let's see what Cool Mo G can bring, as being healthy and being something into the offense. He could be another reason why we didn't take Alex Sarr. He could be our Kevin Durant. We'll see. We'll have to see. Am I putting too much on the guy? No, I'm just throwing names out there that I've already seen. I ain't calling them none of that stuff. I'm calling them Cool Mo G. But just from Hawks
right.
fans and Hawks Twitter, I've seen, we have our Kevin Durant. Why have Alex Sarr when you got Mo G? So that's expectations from the Atlanta Hawks faithful. And I am, locked in, and I really want to see it this year. What can he be for the Atlanta Hawks?
Yeah, we'll see who grows, man. We'll see who grows because one thing about it, development is key to anything. And if they don't develop like they're supposed to in the next 2 years, hey, same position. So,
and again, that'll be terrible just for the fans alone. Just for the fans alone, that'll be terrible. So, what are the Atlanta Hawks doing, y'all? It seems like it may be a quiet rebuild, but stay tuned, man. We're gonna bring on, some other people as soon as we're able to. That's more closer to the organization, and maybe we can ask them some of these questions, and they can give maybe a better direction or a similar direction of what we've been illustrating to you guys, for the last couple of days and weeks.
Burger
so
on that bullshit.
I gotta get a moderator. God damn moderator.
What joy would you need?
This man telling me some I love the Hawks. Oh Lord have mercy.
Jokes. But yeah, man.
I'm talking about call them out. Call them out, Dixon. Call them out, Larry. My goodness, we all know from from place to place. We all know that you're a Celtic fan, okay? Yes, our brother Berto is slick and insurgent at the same time. Yeah. Now I ain't gonna lie, he repped them Falcons, he repped them Braves, but I don't know. It just like he got dropped on the head or something about that basketball team. I don't know what's going on, but so in basketball season, he's a slight insurgent.
Yeah,
man, what? But guys, man, again, Smitty, by all means, they should know. But just in case, it may be somebody new on this broadcast right here, let them know where they can find you.
Yeah, find me on Smitty Sports Machine on YouTube. dropping videos daily, still trying to drop videos. Take a little break next week, get my mind together and regroup. Because I think we're gonna have a great football season. So take a break while you can. But trust me, I will still be dropping videos. When I get back, we're gonna try to get more special guests on Falcon shows, like you said, Hawk shows. We'll talk about the Braves every now and then, but
Yeah.
we'll leave that to RJ because RJ is our Braves guy. But yeah, man, find me on Twitter at fatboyslim_21. And please, before we get out, I got to say this. All Rise Up Country creators, shout out to y'all, man, for putting in work. Big Low
Yes,
Country,
sir.
Uncle Steve,
Yeah.
Let's Get It GA, ATLGA Faithful. I can just go on and on and on and on. You A1 Forever. I mean,
Hey.
just shout out to all the Rise Up content creators, man, out there, because y'all putting in work, and I know this year is gonna be big for a lot of us. And if Raheem Morris is the coach that we know he could be, hey man, we might be on the way to our first championship. Who knows? You gotta think positive. They've laid a great foundation as we talked about. So let's just keep building on it.
Indeed, man. And as for me, man, A1 Forever Sports on YouTube. Also, A1 Forever, Twitter, A1 Forever, Instagram, the real A1 Forever on TikTok, man. Just come on by, have a conversation, like, comment, subscribe, please. Saying as on all platforms, we're trying to get over 1,000. Had some crazy stuff going on with my page on YouTube, but I'm not even worried about it because I'm still gonna get there anyway.
Hey man, I told you, man, it's gonna always be hiccups in this thing, man. Because trust me, I got my monetization took for 3 months. I just kept on pushing, man. That's what you got to do, man.
Yeah, that was
gonna
crazy.
come. One thing about it, when God is blessing you, the devil tries his best to throw you off your track. So you got to, just shake the devil off and keep it moving, man.
What was that old song? What that old gospel song was? Shake.
The devil, yeah.
Shake
the devil off, right?
Smitty, you ain't moving your shoulders. You ain't shaking.
Man, my shoulder old as hell. I got arthritis.
Come on, God almighty knows. All right, and with that being said, y'all, we out.